Dipped your feet in that rabbit hole, you should be aware by now that the entirety of the mainstream media is just another arm of the unelected intelligence community. While this is getting worse lately, it has been this way for over 50 years.
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services, AP and UPI?
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
Oh, executive session.
Literally everything you see on any mainstream media source, be it news, Netflix, billboards, magazines, YouTube videos, advertisements, or cable TV shows, are controlled and deliberately released to provoke certain reactions from you and everyone else. Virtually everything your mind is consuming. Through this, they are able to control the global conversation. Whatever the media cartel is talking about, we assume everyone else is talking about it. Through the use of repetition, the opinions they present to us we think are everyone else's opinions, or at least the majority.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media publish these things simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 The majority of these media platforms are there for nothing more than to parrot whatever message is demanded by the biggest contributor.
Amazon has transformed its operations in response to COVID-19 to protect employees and keep
I'm so sorry.
The company is keeping its employees safe and healthy.
There's got a smiley face on the logo.
The company is keeping its employees safe. The company is keeping its employees safe. Millions of Americans staying at home. Millions of Americans staying at home.
And that is how it works.
Oh, of course.
It's like a house of mirrors, where you're seeing the same thing over and over and over again, except it's distorted.
This division of inaccurate information divides us against one another. The truth is, most of us aren't buying into it, but because the global conversation is constantly talking about the same subjects throughout different mediums, we think that is what other people's beliefs are. We get stuck in a groupthink mentality, something science many decades ago has proven to be very powerful. This has the very unfortunate effect of changing the thoughts and feelings of many people so that they fall in line with the conversation.
The
subject denies the evidence of his own eyes and yields to group influence. Sometimes we go along with the group because what they say convinces us they are right. This is called informational conformity. But sometimes we conform because we are apprehensive that the group will disapprove if we are deviant. This is called normative conformity. It reveals how people will deny what they see and submit to group pressure. It allows us not only to observe conformity, but to study the conditions that increase or reduce its occurrence.
We are easily manipulated with this process. Until this global manipulative conversation from the mainstream media is silenced, all of us will continue to be operating on conflicting and false
without being censored.
This is just the surface of the
where you can
information
find
war
the
that has
whole
been
damn
quietly
thing.
humming along for centuries.
Just awesome.
Slowly changing the world and our perceptions of it
Free
little by little,
yourself.
until we find ourselves in this current inverse cloud